Okay, this is going to be a little story about the inspired by a certain recent scandal involving counterfeit watches. I'll tell you my little story with this. The closest I've got to authenticating a Rolex was one of my coworkers. His brother-in-law was given a Rolex in exchange for doing some painting work or something like that, and the guy owed him like $400. Gave him I don't even know. I don't know if it was a sub or a C dollar. And so my coworker, the guy's brother-in-law, because I'm the watch guy at work, quote unquote, he brings it in to me to say, hey, is this real? And yeah, come to think of it, yeah, it was a C dollar because it had the helium escape valve. So I told him, like, I have no fucking idea. I don't deal with Rolex. I'm not in that price tier at the moment, and you have to have a lot of experience just to look at a watch without an actual comparison. So I told him the best I could do is we could open the back because they usually don't. There's gonna be reasonably like good from the outside, and they'll have a cheap movement. They all have cheap movements, I told them. So yeah, we open it up. Sure enough, there's something along the lines of this. This is like a DG 2813, I think they call it. It's a Chinese variant of I think it's a Chinese variant of a Miyota with some mods and stuff. And then this one has the fake, not the fake, but the Rolex inspired rotor on it. It doesn't have any engraving, nothing like that, no decoration. And they're cheap. They're about like $20 to $30 Canadian to buy new. And you'll see these in a lot of the fake. Some are better. Some, that wheel there gets the red, like the Rolex wheels for the I don't know if they're the reversing wheels, but aside from that, they're still pretty much the same as this. Might be a little bit caused. So I think some have more blued screws and whatnot. But so we open them up. I'm like, oh, this is clearly fake. No one's gonna, give you a fucking multi-$1,000 Rolex for painting a fucking house. Okay, like, come on. And he was disappointed because everyone thinks they won the lottery, I guess, and that was my authenticating experience. But after that, I did a little bit of research, and I came onto some surprises, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is kind of scary!" And I will probably never buy a Rolex used or even gray market now without some absolutely expert advice. I'll never do it on my own. And that gets to this one over here, which is really terrifying. They're very good. It's, like I said, I don't have a real one to compare. I've looked at pictures, and they're getting better, like, than they used to. So I first discovered these, like, I think last year. And I thought, it's no big deal. I can tell these apart, no problem, because they had the China style sort of KIF anti-shock systems on them. And so these are my diagrams of anti-shock here. So this is the current new Rolex Paraflex, which is a really good thing, because it's there's going to be less confusion between. For the anti-shocks, if you're looking at identifying differences. So Rolex used to use the KIF system. They also used the KIF on the Tudor 2824. They used a KIF with a Triovis regulation rather than the more common Inca block, and was it pardon me, Adachron. So Tudor used these on the 2024, and Rolex also used them on their 3135. A lot of the Chinese movements have this one that's it's kind of kif-like, and it's a little bit rounder, and it's quite apparent on the Chinese seagull tourbillons because it's like right in the middle, and it looks like they're trying to make it like a kif kind of shape, but still fit a setting for an Inca block maybe. Where it's filled in, it's dark, it's solid, and then the kif has like these two like little pieces go around, and it's a little more angular kind of looking. And that was the first tell for me. It's like, wow, the anti-chuck looks kind of shitty. So, but that was it. And then looking closely, and we'll get to this on this one, the still fundamental flaw that they have is still there, which makes, you look carefully, it's still be there. But this is a new, available on eBay, counterfeit Rolex movement. It's not a clone, because it actually has the markings on it, 3135, and they're really good. Like the date is an instant change, and it's like pretty slick. Oh, that's noon. Like the instant change on these is really, really good. Like, snap, really crisp. And what they've got now, I don't have a good camera set, this is my phone on a tripod, is that they do have either a genuine kif anti-shock or it's just like much better shaped than before. And the other thing is, I can't really catch it here, is they've actually blued the hairspring, which tells you they're getting really serious, which is really interesting. All the fundamental stuff is there. It has, like I talked before about the red for the winding. We have the hand wind works very nicely. Like I said, we showed the instant dates, very good. It's not as some of the early ones that had these style, they were usually not as clean and not as well finished. They were a little bit rougher. Like this one is better, but they still have the fundamental tell, which is the regulation. So, the real Rolexes have what do they call it, microstella, which is a variable inertia balance. So for the timing is you play with the inertia of screws on the balance wheel, whereas this has these like a stud on the hairspring, so you have these two little knobs that come out, and that's got to do with the hairspring adjustment. So that's the big one, and that's the big tell right now is it has the two little bumps and not the single one like an authentic one. But this is a 3135 copy. And what is the new one? It's a 32 something another. And they have those as well already, which is supposed to have the Paraflex. And they didn't do a very good job of the Paraflex from what I've seen just in photos. It's a little bit more expensive. It's about $260 Canadian for the new one. But what they're doing on the stud for the timing is they have the one bump like the original looks, and then they're hiding them kind of behind. So like when you're looking at the balance bridge, like the genuine Rolex has the one, whereas the fake has these kind of two things sticking out. And the new 32 blah blah is they're going with one, and then they're putting the balance stud bits kind of on the back. So, and it's not as apparent because it's not like you see these two like V spread out. It's like, okay, you see that, it's fake. But there's not a lot of room here for the winding bridge and the balance bridge. So the new ones, they have the single one sticking out like a genuine, and then the studs are kind of hidden in the back. So they're making massive improvements, and it's just something I've wanted to talk about it. And it's not something that's discussed on the watch forums, because a lot of them have very, very aggressive no counterfeit talk. And the reason they do this to protect themselves, so they don't end up with a bunch of counterfeits and they have a reputation. But there's a degree of information that makes it kind of difficult for for the whole buyer beware situation, where it's like, hey, it's these two things. Look for those. Look for the. It's just the balance section. Everything else is like so close. And the concern that I have is if you're going to look at down the road, like we've got the big Rolex crisis or shortage, the steel watch shortage for the subs and all that use this movement. The thing is down, in the whole, they're going to go up and it's an investment and speculation on future values and all this stuff. What's going to happen is down the road, there's like this I don't have a legit 3135 to compare, and I'm just going to make an assumption that you put this side by side, even though this doesn't appear to be as rough and as unfinished as the earlier ones that had the old anti-shock. It's much better. It has a KIF now. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be on par with a brand new 3135. It's not going to happen yet. But the thing is, so you open your new watch and it looks like this, and it's like, what the fuck? It's kind of, why is this kind of shitty? Why does this look like a used movement or whatever? But when people are going to be trying to flip 10, 15-year-old watches, or whatever the generation of, the time frame of this movement is, it's not going to be as apparent, because the outside of the watch is going to be, a little bit more worn in, and you're not going to have the discrepancy between new shiny watch with a little bit rougher movement. You say, it's been serviced a few times. I didn't take it to the authorized dealer because I didn't want to spend as much money, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be more of a difficulty for a lot of buyers on the used market. So is this something that we should be educating on the forums? Or conversely, does that education just give something for these guys to work with themselves? But like, even with the lack of info on the forums, they're making huge improvement. Like, they've blued the hairspring, for crying out loud. Like, I wish my camera could show it a little bit better, but they've blued the hairspring. They've got a better KIF anti-shock. So they just get to a variable inertia balance, and they're going to fool a fucking lot of people. Yeah, so be really, really careful who you're buying your Rolex from. Yeah, peace out.